Jeff, I'm happy to report that it is Good Techland reporting in for Call of Juarez Gunslinger.
Oh, wow. We haven't seen Good Techland on a Call of Juarez game for a while.
Not since, I mean, some people don't like it, but
Well,
I really
yeah,
liked
yeah.
Bound in Blood. I think that's a pretty fantastic game.
I thought it had issues, but it was definitely not terrible.
It was endearing for its weirdness, and I loved it for a Polish developer interpreting the American Civil War as published by a French video game company.
Sure,
That is a large part of the appeal for me. But we had Dead Island Riptide come out earlier this year. Bad Techland.
Bad Techland. Which Techland is that? That's the Call of Juarez Cartel Techland or something.
Yeah, and then it sounds like Dying Light is probably going to be Good Techland.
That looks like Good Techland to me.
So I had written this game off. I even went to like a Ubisoft Digital Press Day a couple of weeks ago where I like talked to like Dean Evans about like Far Cry, Blood Dragon, and this was there, and I was like, downloadable, cell shaded Call of Juarez. You know, all right, that's I don't need that.
Yeah.
And then there's been a prevailing narrative this week of, hey guys,
this game's all right.
This game's all right, and you know what? This game's all right.
Well, that's what you get when you judge a game by its whatever.
The OK Corral, I was still after Johnny Ringo.
So, the narrative setup of this game is that you are in a bar, sort of explaining your exploits to a group of people, including like the bartender and a kid that has read about your exploits in these dime novels, like basically like the comics of that day.
Right.
And so he's explaining. This is the bar dialogue is happening while you're playing the game.
All right. So the whole game is a flashback to how this guy. What is it like a what really happened thing?
Yes.
What exactly did Johnny Ringo do to piss you off?
Well, him and that other bastard.
Roscoe Bob Bright?
Yep. They both deserve to die, and I promise I'll tell you why.
The dope rhyme.
But first, I need to tell you about the Cowboys' new boss, Curly Bill Brocious.
There's like,
get ready, boys.
so basically, instead of like having like all this dialogue with characters doing like exposition dumps, it just happens overlaid as you're playing. It's a really clever way to solve that problem. So and one of the main hooks of this game is that you've got in the upper left-hand corner. Oh, let me just do it.
So bullet time then.
Yeah, but you get more experience points for when you're fighting dudes for doing it in the bullet time mode. So you're encouraged to do that, and you're encouraged to kill as many guys as possible so you can earn more experience, which then informs your
upgrade. Something.
Which I should hit pretty soon.
Yeah.
And grievously wounded his older brother, Virgil.
Hit the D-pad, and I can switch to all my different weapons. So I get a lot of really satisfying little.
You're getting full of holes. Filled full of. Yeah.
Exactly. You nailed it.
Wyatt and Doc went on what became known as the Vendetta Ride, hunting those outlaws down. So when I showed up, that's who they thought I was.
Is there a Western equivalent of the Call of Duty noise?
Yeah, it's great. So then when you level up, you can basically. I even like this interface. Like this is a really goofy way to represent leveling up. So
skills and
so you've got Gunslinger, which is your that's just your pistols. You've got Trapper, which is your shotgun. Ranger, long distance. So you got to get through this wheel in order to get to.
Oh, so you have to unlock them in some kind of order, but you have to pick a path around to the other.
Yeah, basically. Like if you really want this, like you can fill this whole thing up, but it's going to take you longer to do that. I'm a big fan of Duel and pistols. What do we? Let's maybe go down this path. Reload your revolvers in the blink of an eye.
Fast reload.
Be able to reload load bullets into your revolver cylinder while it's spinning, which means sure. There's some pretty interesting ones that you get access to. Like, for example, this one. Can't be bulletproof, but you can be more resistant. On average, every fourth enemy bullet shot from a short weapon will bounce off you. Right?
Okay.
Like
that's a weird way of putting that.
But it's I think it's a really funny. Like it's tonally consistent with.
It's way more interesting than like damage reduced by 10%, or whatever the. generic math would be on that sort of stuff.
And you're rewarded for like when you're carrying these pistols, and if you get a headshot that's also a long shot, you know, you're gonna get like 400 experience for that, as opposed to just waltzing up to a dude. And
all right. So is it kind of designed for you to replay these? Or does he tell each individual like separate stories, or is this one long story?
It's all one long story, but the missions.
Ooh, cool.
The missions themselves are pretty short, so I would imagine you could be replaying them.
Yeah, does it encourage that, or just like replay that for a better score, or something like that?
You can score at the end with accuracy, and I'm not sure if it all. We can check, but there is like an arcade mode that I imagine is just these missions with how long can you survive. And I wonder if that feeds into.
But I wasn't about to let
like it's probably all a consistent.
and that's what drove me forward.
Experience points that you're having in between modes, but I don't know that for sure, so that's worth.
They say that Ringo was infernally fast.
I hardly saw anyone faster, boy. Certainly not Wyatt Earp. That man was all hat and no cap.
That's a sick burn.
Damn it.
Earp wasn't much of a match for him, but Doc Holliday might.
Break your combo string by missing.
Yep.
Longer should have kept his nose out of it. They never charged anyone for the murder of more than us.
But everybody knew that Curly shot him in the back.
So I'm not sure if we'll encounter it here, but
Maybe so.
what'll happen as the stories are being told is you'll encounter situations. So, for example, I had one in the last mission where you're in the middle of the canyon, you're cornered, and like the way the dialogue went was odd. I was, you know, and then you were cornered by a bunch of Apaches, and so it's like all these Native Americans like shooting me from the top of the ridge, and you spend like a good like minute fighting these guys, and all of a sudden the guy you're playing as goes, no, it was a bunch of cowboys fighting Apache style, and then it goes and it rewinds you, and then a bunch of cowboys take the place of the Indians, and then you're shooting the cowboys. So it does that a couple of times where. As he's rewriting the story or filling in the truths of the story, the game actually changes dynamically to reflect that.
That seems like a good way to make the game longer without having to generate more terrain.
It doesn't seem to abuse it.
Okay.
It's more just being clever, I think.
Yeah. Cool. Whoa.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
What's that, Dwight?
After old man Clanton died, why didn't his son take over the Cowboys?
Because
This seems like a better way of handling it. Hey, slow down. Don't get ahead in the level.
Oh. Yeah.
Slowing you down. You can still actually move and shoot. And then hidden throughout the levels, there are these things called nuggets of truth, which basically, like, the game is constantly referencing things that actually happened, but obviously it's not historically accurate. So when you find these things throughout, they have little... like, hey, this is actually
the real thing.
Yeah, like
here's what Billy the Kid really was.
Right. Here's like a photo of Billy the Kid, and explains who he is.
Sure.
So that's sort of neat. So it has a lot of historical touchstones, but obviously is wielding its own yarn.
Yeah. So it's not tied to the other Call of Juarez games, the family of the brothers
I don't
or whatever.
Know.
Like none of that.
I cannot say I know enough about the mythology.
Rich and beloved narrative.
I mean, I sort of, I wrote it off as there not being a connective tissue, and then people were like, oh yeah, the whole series has a connective tissue. Even the cartel is somehow
the cartel
tied
is like you're playing as the great-grandson or whatever it is of one of those guys, yeah.
So I don't want to speak out of turn in case it is absolutely...
Might be something there, okay.
The gunplay feels really good. I think the game's got a good look to it.
PC version here, right?
Yeah, but I imagine this isn't a case where the console version is going to look particularly different. I think the art style most likely lends itself to translating pretty well. I'm hoping we can get to a duel, which is another one of the main components of the game. But if we don't get to it,
I was going to say, the name like Gunslinger, it seemed like there would be. You would occasionally have to draw. Boom. Nice.
Let's see if we can trigger this. Okay. So the upper right-hand corner is you can dodge the last bullet, but you have to dodge.
Oh, wow.
You have to dodge the right way. So if I hit left, I would have just walked into the bullet. So that reloads over time.
Okay, so that's like the shot that would kill you.
Yeah, yeah. That is basically like, hey, you're dead, but we're
Right.
going to give you one last chance to try and get around it. I think
That's cool.
It's a neat way of handling what's increasingly becoming a mechanic in shooters of like, you know, last shot, which, you know,
Right,
like Gears
yeah.
of War has, and it's a way more. I think it's a really fun way to interact with something like that, which is like, hey, don't slow down the pace, but hey, you know, you've got to earn the right to keep going.
We dodge this bullet.
Oh, I fucked that up.
Yeah. Oh.
Shoot this guy through the. Come on. Aw, it's hiding.
There were carts everywhere, piles of lumber, and God knows what else for people to hide behind. That really was one hell of a sawmill. Quite an impressive operation.
No, really, it was a nice sawmill.
And where was Curly Bill? Did you see him?
I'm about to get to that, Ben. Patience. I'm painting a picture here. There was this beautiful waterfall and a crystal clear stream.
Like this is.
It was truly.
I think this stuff is really smart. Like it's
What happened next?
just stuff that you normally wouldn't even get
Yeah.
descriptors for, and it feels incredibly natural and not forced.
Huh, that's neat.
It's a good-looking game. Like I know cel-shaded stuff, I'm usually kind of hit or miss on, but
Well, it's not. I mean, not like super cel-shaded.
No, it's just it's a
little
stylistic.
bit. Yeah.
Curly Bill, Johnny Ringo, and his
All right, this would be a big
compadres took
shootout.
off
Why
Kind
don't
of gives
we?
us sort of a Borderlands kind of.
That's pretty much more shootouts. You can actually just jump into duels, so rather than hope one comes along. So there's a couple different mechanics that go into duels. That mean you're not just waiting to hit.
It's a fantastic loading screen tip.
Yeah. All right. I'm not sure how this mode works. Okay. You get 5 lives. So I'm using the right stick to focus in on the guy, but I'm using my left stick in order to move that hand over it, so I'm increasing the speed at which I'll be able to pull out the gun. But my hand is moving ever so slightly, and I'm also watching the guy to make sure that when he pulls his gun, that's when I pull my gun.
Right.
Oh. He got me. So the whole like tension is you're moving this left stick and this right stick to slightly get those in the best position possible, so that when you actually do pull, and you can pull early. So if you hear your heartbeat,
Yeah.
you can kill dishonorably.
Ah.
Which I've never tried that, so let's try that. So I killed him, but I was kind of a dick about it.
Well.
And you don't get any
No
points for it.
It's real law of the West.
Let's see what the next guy's like. It's actually it's really tricky to pull this stuff off because you spend so much time on one end of it. Like they do a really good job of it's you know, your left eye is on that, your right eye is on that, and just getting your hands and your eyes to work together is pretty challenging. Not gonna be a dick. Oh, he got me.
Yeah.
Fuck. So these come up naturally throughout the narrative. Both of those guys are dudes that I faced in the main game. So it seems like you might want to play through the story before you get spoiled on how all those duels work.
Yeah.
And the game seems pretty. Oh shit! I meant to go to recollections.
You gonna say it seems pretty lengthy?
It seems pretty lengthy. This is the 4th stage of 14.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So for
Where
a
was Curly Bill? Did you see him?
downloadable game that is only $15, seems like there's quite a lot here. Let's check out the arcade mode. I want to see if this stuff, if the experience I gain here carries over or not, or if this is purely a leaderboard-focused endeavor. Because then you could kind of like grind through here to get more of those skills. It's all about the high score. You get points or kills and awards. The key to success is linking their kills and to combos. You have to finish the mission alive to keep your score. Get done quickly for extra bonus time.
Oh, so you get to pick a loadout, so it's separate.
Oh, so I'm spending points. Let's go the Gunslinger.
I'll flank it.
Gotcha.
So this just kind of turns it into the club.
Yeah, pretty much. That beloved Sega classic.
Yes.
Whatever, the club had good ideas. It was well-meaning.
Yeah, yes. I'll give you that.
Even if not a particularly good game.
Yeah. Kind of felt like it executed on none of those ideas.
No. It's like, it was one of those games that when someone told you on paper what it was, you were like, yeah, that could be cool.
A lot of that stuff was stuff that in the original pitch that we got for Black, it seemed like they had a lot of big ideas about combo systems and
oof, boom. So I got a shitload of points for that because I dodged and did that.
Yeah, for Black, you know, that was the notion of like, what do you have as the Burnout equivalent, like the combo-driven thing that Burnout was based on, and they had some sort of like elaborate kill combo thing in mind that they ended up not having and not putting into the final game.
So I guess I can tap X in order to fill the bullets faster.
Oh, huh.
I don't know if that's every weapon or just this one in particular, but that's pretty cool. Woo!
All right.
Yeah, so I don't know. This genuinely surprised by this game.
So it's all right.
It's got a good look. It's really funny. It does a lot of clever things narratively and with the gameplay that you know, makes the sort of Red Dead Redemption style, rather than just relying on it because it's the easier way to play the game. There are like mechanics layered over it that make it skillful and enjoyable.
Give you a lot of good reasons to try different weapons and spec out and stuff.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, so that is Call of Juarez Gunslinger. It's on, I think, everything right now. I think it's PSN, XBLA,
and Steam,
and PC. It's
no
15.
Wii U.
Highly doubtful. Highly doubtful.
Yeah.
It's $15 on the PC, so extrapolate as you will to Microsoft points.
I'll get my calculator out. We can figure that out.
They didn't say anything about that, did they?
I believe they are moving to real money.
That is the rumor, yeah.
I'm not. I think they may have said that. I don't know. Messaging on that, not been.
But anyway, that was Call of Juarez Gunslinger. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Patrick.